I'm going to share about breath is one of the main elements of myofascial energetic release. I use breath in myofascial energetic release to charge up the body. So I ask people to take slow, deep breaths throughout the session and to breathe into where I'm touching. Yeah, if I'm working on their feet, imagine the breath going to the feet. Wherever I'm touching, they imagine the breath is touching that area. So I ask them to breathe because what breath does is it brings energy charge to the person. And that energy starts to open them up. And as I'm releasing with deep touch, the holding patterns in the fascia and having them breathe, the breath moves into that space that's being created and opens it up and brings life force there. Breath is a very powerful method to open people up energetically. So that's myofascial energetic release. So I use breath to charge up their energy and then discharge it or release it through movement, through sound, through emotional awareness, through emotional release. These are ways in which people discharge old holding patterns, discharge places where they've been congested. And what the breath does is it moves into those areas, feeds it with energy, charges it up, and then with the touch and the movement, then the breath then allows that energy to start to release through the whole system. And as that happens, it brings light, it brings awareness, and it brings presence to the person wherever they're breathing into, and it brings them into a state of expansion. It's an art to work with breath because one has to learn how much charge the person can take and how much they should discharge with it, not to over-breathe them so that they start to shut down, because if you take too much breath and you're not discharging, you'll start to shut down. So it's an art to learn to work with breath in this system, and it's something I also teach. I teach people how to work with breath. Deep connected breathing throughout the sessions so that the client is very proactive in the work. As the people start to flow with their breath, and I'm working with deep touch to release the holding patterns in the fascial system, and I'm supporting them to move and to unwind the holding patterns through movement, what happens is that the energy that's built up through breath, the charge that's built up, starts to move through the whole body. And often I'm not looking for an emotional release or some kind of release like that. What I'm trying to do is just get energy to move through the body. Often it's through sensuality and pleasure is what comes up as people are breathing, getting touched sensitively and deeply and start to move. So in that way, I use breath also just to start to have that kind of movement of pleasure to stream through the whole body, yeah? And when that happens to people, it's so healing. The breath brings oxygen and oxygenates the cells of the body. And as the cells start to get free and have more circulation from the deep work, then the oxygen can enter into those cells and bring life force. So what happens through the breath is that people get in touch with their life force and start to find something much deeper in themselves than in normal bodywork sessions where you don't have this deep connected breath.